Actress and author Cheryl Hines joins us now. Cheryl, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
I guess
Thank you.
The big question I think most people want to know is, how is it in the inside now of politics? Because you went from being loved by everyone to be a part of something so polarizing.
Yes, it's been an interesting transition because, right, I come from the comedy world where people want to laugh and have fun, and even if they're talking about politics, everyone seems to be able to laugh at it. So now being actually in politics and seeing it from the inside out, it's different. People have a lot of feelings and emotions, and we were talking for a minute that some people's politics just are a part of their identity, and they can't, they have a harder time separating it from all the other things in their lives. And so it's a challenging time for a lot of people, especially around the holidays.
I know, talking politics around the table with family. So how have you found, I'm sure when you married him, everyone in Hollywood is like, he's a Kennedy, we love them, we love their family, because Hollywood usually skews Democratic. But now he's working for Donald Trump. How did that change your lives? Have you lost friends in Hollywood because of it?
I have friends that I haven't talked to in a while, coincidentally, since the election, so maybe there's something there. But yes, you're right. You know, when I married Bobby, he was an environmental attorney and fighting for people's health, you know, suing companies and corporations that have toxins in their products or that they're releasing into the environment. And Bobby had a lot of support in the Hollywood industry. But when he turned to politics so he could work on those issues and really make a difference and try to get out some of the toxins in, say, baby formula, or work on favored nations drug pricing, so we're not paying more than other countries are paying for drugs. It has been a different reception, simply because of the administration and how people might feel one way or the other about President Trump and the work that he's doing and the work that Bobby's doing. Just that alone is enough to spark emotions.
Speaking of sparking emotions, I watched when you were on The View, your initial book tour, and you were, you know, you had to feel like you were going to be engaged, and you were, but you were ready. Watch.
He sued these companies for health reasons because they were causing health problems.
But the problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history.
I do not.
I think that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is that
he
possible?
is less qualified.
He has spent his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
So
You held your own.
I was ready. You know, it's been great that Bobby's been in office long enough to see a lot of the accomplishments that he's done. And she, you know, she was talking about, too, that for whatever reason, people have been coming after Bobby saying he wasn't qualified because he wasn't a doctor. And I just wanted to point out that 90% of the HH secretaries have not been doctors. And one of them was an economist. So you know, you just have to go through and just calm everybody down and say, why don't we just look at
So you used to performing under pressure, but
Yes.
you also have the emotion of this is your husband.
Right.
So how did you? And plus, this is not necessarily your expertise. You're an actress, so you know that's his expertise. So how do you approach when those moments happen and you start getting scrutiny from people that aren't Trump fans or your husband's fans? Like, what goes through you?
Well, I like to stay calm and really try to connect with someone, because I think that's part of the problem is people put up their barriers and they don't really want to listen or really connect. So I was just trying to listen. I want to listen to, why do you think the way you think? And these are the facts. And can we both look at them together and talk? But, you know, it's difficult. Some people don't want to engage that way.
I'm curious, because this Unscripted is about your entire life. RFK is only a part of your life, and it's also the politics thing is very new. What in your life prepared you for this moment? Because this is a different time. You know?
Well, it's a good question. It's a very good question, because my background is in improv. And in improv, the key is to listen to the other person, because there's no script. So all of your answers are in the other person. So when Bobby said he was going to run for president, yes, it was a hairpin turn in my life. And I wasn't expecting it. I could never have predicted that Unscripted would end in a Trump administration. But that's my life. That's what's happening. That's Bobby's life. It's an exciting time. And I think my background has always been family first.
Yeah.
No matter what is happening out there, if we have each other, we're going to be okay. We're going to be stronger. It's made our family unit really strong, our kids, because we can get together and really talk in an honest way and say, let's talk about what's really important, and let's talk about the noise that we can leave behind and be able to filter.
Yeah.
You know, because in Hollywood, I didn't experience that. It would be on a different level, right? You have a movie, it comes out, it's joyful, everybody's talking about it. There might be some chatter of, oh, it's not a good film or this or that, but politics is next level.
When you talk about Unscripted, famously Curb Your Enthusiasm is known to, they'll set up a scene, but you don't have the exact dialogue. Can you give me an idea what the paper would say?
Right.
And
Good
when the
question.
scene starts.
Right.
So for non-actors like us, what does it look like on paper, and how many times do you have to go through it before you and Larry come out? Here's the scene. What do they tell you, and when did he tell you? How does it end?
Right. Well, a normal script for a sitcom would be maybe 30, 35 pages long. Ours was a story outline that was maybe 3 to 5 pages. So, you know, in the first scene, it might just say, Cheryl will tell Larry how long her parents are staying for the holidays. That's all we get. There's you're all like, I hope it's not long. And then, you know, and then Larry and I don't rehearse at all. There's no rehearsal. We don't talk about the scene. And then the cameras roll. And then I'll say, yeah, you know, my parents are coming. They're going to be here for 2 weeks, and then we're going to have a great holiday. And then, you know, I already know, well, Larry, that's not going to go well with Larry. So then Larry has his reaction to it. And sometimes we would get it on the first take. Everything was great. And then most of the time, after the first take, there's a conversation with the director that might say, this time, you know, keep the thing in about your parents and the 2 weeks, and let them know that your mom's been sick for a while too, so she has a cold. You know, so something that might be a little bit of a dig or something. So it was a very fun, loose process.
That's hilarious. My favorite is when you tell Larry he needs to tell the housekeeper she has to wear a bra because she's walking around without a bra on. And Larry goes, I'll do it. I'll tell her. It's because you know that's going to be a disaster.
Of course it's going to be a disaster. And then the next thing you know, Susie and I find him trying on my bra.
Yes, that's right.
He's trying to gauge the size of what he thinks a housekeeper's breasts would be. And, you know, you're watching it, you're just like, this is not
Not-
the way
yeah.
this should go.
No. Then the husband finds out. He comes over. It's so good. It's unscripted.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Thank
Cheryl.
you.
Thanks for spending your morning with us.
What a perfect Christmas gift.
Yes.
Right?
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a really fun read, I think.
Absolutely. Cheryl, great to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.